Hi there everyone, it's Misty here. Thanks so much for joining me today. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the end of 2020 and what my goal is or what my goals are for 2021. Oh, hi friends. So I am editing and I realized that I had lipstick all around my mouth. So I'm not refilming this video. This is like the 5th time I filmed it. So I apologize that I look a hot mess, but yeah, the sentiment is the same and I wiped it all off, but yeah, I didn't realize it. I should have, but I didn't. So yeah, sorry about that, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the. So if you're unfamiliar or maybe you stepped away when I wasn't posting, etc., my name is Misty. I started this channel sometime in 2016, but regularly started posting in March of 2017 as I started a journey on a keto diet. Since then, I've done keto, I've done carnivore, I've fasted. I've kind of been all over the place, but in the last 3 months of the year, I started long-term fasting. So my main goal for 2020 was to get off insulin. I started the year at 409 pounds and I was taking 100 units of insulin every single night. By the end of the first month, by the end of January, I dropped down 40 units of insulin to 60 units of insulin. Unfortunately, then I got strep and went on an antibiotic, so my blood sugars went up. And then I didn't eat correctly, my blood sugars went up. And then I went on keto for 90 days, strict keto, and my blood sugars came back down. And then they went back up a little bit, and then they've come back down. And then in October, they started going back up. So the last week of October is when I completed my very first water fast. So when I say fasting, I don't mean that I'm intermittent fasting. I did intermittent fasting, but I didn't see the results that I felt like I needed to see. So that's why I started long-term fasting. Since then, I have learned that Humira, which is an injection I've been taking for my rheumatoid arthritis, causes hyperglycemia and caused hyperglycemia and caused it for about a good 2 weeks. And my blood sugars still hadn't come down. So I finished the year at 353 pounds after finishing a 15-day fast. So I fasted from December the 11th to December 25th, and I only had water, keto chow fasting drops, pickle juice, and sometimes bouillon. So for me, that was a very successful fast, other than the blood sugar numbers. And so I ended it on Christmas Day, and by New Year's Eve, actually probably a couple of days before New Year's Eve, I had reached my limit. My blood sugars were right back up in the 300s. It wasn't anything that I was eating that was causing it. It was still the Humira. I'd gone to the doctor on the 22nd to have my pancreas and my insulin checked. We still haven't necessarily gotten that blood work back. So I did what I normally do, which is a pattern of behavior that I've started to recognize in myself and something that I'm focusing on with my word self-care for 2021. I sabotage myself. It's like a form of punishment. So I did this 15-day fast, and since my numbers weren't where they should have been, and I felt like it was my fault because I took a drug that I should have known better to take, because I've been there, done that. I should have checked that drug. This is what I told myself. I should have checked that drug. I should have known it caused issues in diabetics. I should have said, hey, is there something else we can try instead? I should have never allowed myself to take a drug that causes hyperglycemia. So with my blood sugars being so high, and with me focused on the fact that I didn't do what I was supposed to do, I basically punished myself by going on a carb bender. And it's just been within the last couple of days that I realize what it is for what it is. This is a pattern of behavior that's gone on for years. I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't get the results I think I deserve. And so I beat myself up and punish myself by going off plan, because going off plan doesn't bother anybody but me. I punished me. That means I'm starting basically from scratch. I lost all the progress that I made with the 15-day fast because I've put carbs in my body, and now I've got to go start that process all over again. I even put insulin in my body because the blood sugar numbers weren't coming down. So now I have to burn out all the insulin that I put in my body. So I basically am starting over from scratch. And I did that as a form of punishment on myself. So, and again, I'm not punishing, it's not bothering anybody else, it's me. I'm punishing myself for an ignorant reason, and that is one of the reasons why I picked the word self-care for 2021, because I have to stop punishing myself when things don't go my way. I have to realize that there are things out of my control. I can't control if a medication is going to cause an issue. The only thing I can do as far as medication is to read through all of the information and see if it's something that's going to affect my diabetes. And if it is, I need to talk to the doctor and see if we can switch to something else. Eating carbs, a 4-day carb bender doesn't help. It makes things worse. It makes my inflammation worse. I'm now swollen and retaining water. So all the 30 pounds of water weight I lost, I now have again because I'm swollen and I am retaining water like a son of a bitch. And who does that hurt? That doesn't hurt anybody else but me. And I have to stop it. I have to stop. So that is really what my focus is going to be for 2021. So I was going to start a fast, another water fast yesterday. So I'm filming this on the 4th. This video is probably going to go up on Wednesday if I had to guess. So I was like, okay, on the 3rd, I'm going to fast. I'm going to do another water fast, and I'm going to do it from January 3rd to February the 5th. I got to last night and I realized I just wasn't in the right headspace for that. I just wasn't in the right headspace to do that because I'm still aggravated that I don't have the blood work numbers back. I'm still aggravated that my blood sugars are still in 300s. I mean, now it's my fault, right? Now I can say it's my fault because I ate incorrectly or ate poorly the last few days of this. I think December 30th is when I started, and I finished on January the 2nd. So what is that, 4 days? 4 days of eating incorrectly. I have to now start all over, and that progress, I'm starting from the beginning. I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was saying. Anyway, that was a form of punishment. So it's something that I really have to stop doing to myself. So as I mentioned though, my word for 2021 is self-care, and how that's going to relate to this area of my life is I'm not going to beat myself up if my body doesn't do what I think it should be doing, or if I have an issue with the medication, or if I have to go back on insulin because my pancreas has died, or I can't do a whole 30-day water fast. I'm going to have to be focused on what I can do and what I can control, because I can't control anything else other than what I put in my mouth, what goes into my body. And I've said that many, many different times. But now I also have to be aware of how I sabotage myself or punish myself when things don't go the right way. And I can't believe it's taken me this long to really realize and understand what I'm doing and what that's about. So definitely going to work on that for 2021. I am going to work on fasting in 2021 as well. I felt great while fasting. I'm going to do the Q&A. I may film that next, actually. I felt really good fasting. So it's definitely something that I want to continue. Right now I'm currently fat fasting. So I'm fat fasting until Friday. So today's Monday. I'm going to fat fast until Friday, which is basically just having bulletproof coffee in the morning. And then hopefully that will help me transition into another long-term fast. So that is definitely something that I plan on doing. But I can't go into it in this the state that I'm in right now, because I'm not going to be successful, because there is still a part of me that is like, you should have done this, you should have done that, you didn't do this. It's going to take me a while to rewrite that script and be more focused on what I accomplished. I mean, I didn't eat for 15 days. I fasted over 900 hours from the end of October until the 1st of January. I mean, I've done a really good job of things, and I need to know, I need to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power to continue that. So yeah, I'm almost at 900 hours of fasting since October. So going forward, I'm going to have to really focus on being more positive with myself, making sure that I am reminding myself that it may not go as quickly as I want it to go, especially now. I know it'll probably take me a good 3 weeks before my blood sugar is under control and I've gotten the carbs, the glucose out of me and the extra insulin out of me before I can start, burning fat and going forward again. I know that I'm going to have to remind myself on the daily that Rome wasn't built in a day. I didn't do this to myself in a year. It's taken, 43 years of issues to get to where I am today. So I guess the biggest focus has got to be on making sure that I am not sabotaging myself, making sure that if I come off a fast, I don't celebrate coming off a fast by eating, food that isn't right for me. I continue to eat healthy, or I find new ways to make food that I love taste better without worrying about carbs, etc. And so it's really about changing my relationship with myself, but also continuing to change my relationship with food. And I've talked about this in the past. Food can be enjoyable, yes, but I still have to think of food as fuel, fat as fuel. So, I can still enjoy a meal. It can still be a pleasurable experience, even if it doesn't include things that I'm basically allergic to. My body has told me that I'm allergic to carbohydrates. Any kind of pasta, any kind of bread, any kind of sweeteners, are not what's best for me. And I have to start listening to my body. I have to start listening, better and just being nicer to myself. I mean, I mentioned in my, we had talked about in a comment section about grace or being gentle, etc. And those just didn't feel like they fit, because it's more than me just being nice to myself. It's more than me just giving myself an opportunity to live like I need to live. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be deeper than that. And that's why I think self-care is going to work out perfectly for me. So my plan going forward is, like I mentioned, I am fat fasting this week. And again, that's just me having bulletproof coffee. I don't remember which video I mentioned it in, if I mentioned it in a video, but Dr. Fung, I listened to like 8 or 9 hours of him one day. And one thing he said was that bulletproof coffee doesn't break a fast. He said if it has stevia, it shouldn't break a fast. If it has heavy cream and butter, it shouldn't break a fast. I don't know how true that is or not, but like I mentioned, I am doing a fat fast this week, and then I will probably start a long-term fast again on Saturday. I'm going to shoot for 21 days. Initially, I was going to shoot for 30. I don't know that I can do 30. I will get to 21, and then I will evaluate how my blood sugar is doing, how my ketones are doing, how I'm feeling. Do I feel like I'm well enough to continue? And if I am, then I'll keep going. So yeah, so I know a lot of people were really excited because of the weight loss and stuff like that with the fast, and that I was able to do it. And I should have held on to that, and I didn't. And it's over now. I can't go back and change time, but I can change my habits and what I do going forward. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully this made sense. I've basically turned on the camera and been talking for an hour. I really appreciate all of your support. So many of you guys have just been such amazing cheerleaders for me. I really do appreciate it. We are waiting for the insulin levels. My pro insulin, which I think is the C-peptide, came back at 8.8. I can't find anything anywhere that says exactly what that means unless you have the insulin numbers, which we don't. I think it means that my pancreas is still producing insulin, so I'm probably still dealing with insulin resistance. So I definitely don't want to treat that with insulin. We've seen that without the Humira that I can get it down with fasting. And again, I still think I'm going to fast for like a long-term fast, like 21 or 30 days, and then move into where I'm fasting 3 or 4 days a week and then eating 3 or 4 days a week. I've looked into alternative day fasting. That may be also something that I try. It's really going to be the year of experimentation, and what's going to be the deciding factor is what helps keep my blood glucose under control. So my A1C was like 7.3 before, and now it's 7.8. So it's gone up about almost a half a point, which I knew it would because they've been elevated since the end of October. So yeah, so going forward, that's basically all I can do. You're welcome to fast with me. I am talking with my doctor about the fasting, etc. So it's not, I'm not just out here twiddling my thumbs and deciding not to eat. When I say water fast, I mean a water fast, meaning I make sure I get my electrolytes in through pickle juice or broth. The fasting drops from keto chow. Then I'll have ice water, unsweetened iced tea. And every once in a while, like I said, I'll have bouillon. Like I mentioned, Dr. Fung has mentioned several times that bulletproof coffee doesn't break a fast. After the 15th or 20th day, we'll see what my blood sugars are doing, and then I can add back in things and test. Because, fasting is basically the best elimination diet ever, because you don't eat anything for 15 or 20 days or 7 days or however long you set your fast. And then as you add things back in, you can decide if that's something that you want to continue eating. Is it something that you can have or something that you can't? So we'll see. We'll see. That's basically going to be what happens this year. So I am going to get back to daily vlogging. I'm just trying to share what's going on with my body. I don't do much else throughout the day other than like filming for my other channels, etc. So I'm not going to share a whole lot of that, but definitely checking in the mornings and in the evenings, and then sharing what my numbers are doing during the day, and whether, we see it coming down or if we see something that makes it go up. I know for the next couple of weeks, like I mentioned, that it's going to be high before it gets low. I know my morning numbers are going to be higher than when I went to bed because I'm going to be, my liver is going to be dumping all the glucose that it has, etc. So there are definitely some things I've learned about fasting. I know a lot of people, that was one of the questions they asked, was why am I fasting now? And I said I never would. My concern has always been about intermittent fasting. And as I mentioned, that I really didn't see any real results with intermittent fasting on my blood sugars. I just didn't. That's why I was like, okay, I've got to fast. I've got to stop eating to make sure that my body is not having a insulin response to something that I've given it. After the 7th day, I knew that I needed to go a little bit longer, because by the 7th day, I was only at 140, and 3 days later, my blood sugars were back up in the 300s. So, but at that point, I didn't realize the Humira had caused any issues, and now I know. So going forward, when I see my rheumatologist, we can try something different, and I can see between now and then if I don't have a Humira injection, how that's going to affect my glucose numbers. So as we're talking right now, I'm at 351, and I started the morning at 3:15. I started the morning at 3:08. So that was at 9. It's now 11:40. So I've gone up 40 something points, 42 points. So it's definitely gone up. But again, that's not surprising. So we'll see if it comes down. I did fast yesterday, and it did make it down to like 230. So again, I'm just fat fasting now to kind of get me back in this right frame of mind and get my body ready to move back into just having water. So I'm not having anything else throughout the day other than the bulletproof coffee when I very first wake up. So we'll see what happens. If I have anything else, it'll be like some broth with butter in it. But yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. Hopefully this video wasn't as all over the place as it felt. We shall see. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I appreciate you so, so much. Again, thank you for all of your kind words and your support. Deb, if you will email me the name of your endocrinologist, I would appreciate it. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you real soon. Bye for now.